welcome to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy. Today we're going to be talking about a sake, which is pretty much a Japanese vodka. Now, you can distill about any kind of mash made out of just about anything, really. Grains, rice, barley, wheat, corn, fruits, grapes into wine. Japanese have made sake out of rice, which is the main staple in their nation. So, little quick background about this video. I know I have made some videos on sake before, but they must have got lost and or deleted back before Mr. Randy actually launched the channel, when he had a bulk amount of content that he was building up. I wanted to have a sort of a head start before, hitting the ground, trying to get running. So I'm pretty sure that these got lost. Couldn't find them. I was doing some gin videos. Then I started realizing that I hadn't done many gin videos. And then I realized that I've been doing a lot of scotch and not a lot of bourbon or American whiskey or Irish whiskey. And then I realized, holy crap. I looked back through my category of videos and thought, there's not many wine videos. And then I'm like, I'm missing something, because of the way I edit my videos. I have things prepared. There was no sake videos. So now I went back and we're backtracking. We're doing some sake. We might do a few other types of spirits or libations. But this is another episode of Off the Rip. So we're going to do an Off the Rip of Sho Chiku Bai, sorry. It is a sake. It's a classic Junmai sake, naturally brewed. Alcohol, 15%. We'll give you a backside. So try and give you a little bit more of a view. So, in the Japanese culture, sake is used in various different ways. You have a house sake, a sake you keep around the house. There's two house sakes. You keep a pretty generic but decent, acceptable quality sake for like your everyday drinking, and then you keep a little bit of a level up from that for whenever you have guests come over. So typically in more metro or city-based areas in Japan, you're going to find that most households of generation, a little bit above ours, older generations, will have two types of sake. The one they only break out when good guests come over, and one they have on an everyday basis or a regular person comes over. It's always kind and courteous. That's the way the Japanese is, to offer you a drink when you come over to visit. Whether you want one or not, they will offer. And whether you want to drink it or not, you will drink it, because Japanese are big on customs, especially, the international customs. So let's go ahead and get this cracked open. It is pretty much a standard metal cap. Very easy to come off. Yes. Now, I might have to be a little more cautious about this, because this is a long neck bottle and a very small cup. Now, just for the sake of this, I'm going to grab another glass. We're going to take our little sake cup. Just for the moment, it does have a little slight tinge of yellowish tinge to it. Okay, that is primarily the process, and we're going to put that back in that cup. There are a lot of traditions in the Japanese culture about serving your guests sake. We won't even get into the tea. That's on a different channel. Ching ching. Let's get into the nose. Kampai, sorry. There's very little characteristics on the nose. It almost smells like nothing. There's only a slight musky, mildewy smell. It's very light. Most people probably wouldn't even, let me get it under the glass. You know, on that glass. There's a slight sort of vinegar, like a very light, smooth, rounded vinegar smell, which is typical. There's a little bit in the bottom of the glass. I'm going to add that back to the, yeah. So you're not going to find a lot of legs or viscosity. This is basically rice vodka. Let's get it on the palate. No, nothing like any other libation you've had. If you've had sake, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Tell us what you've had. Mr. Randy has had quite a few. I do believe I might have talked about Sake Saturdays, which has started quite a few years ago, 12, 13 years ago. Hanging around outside with a group of friends, all gone now, just Mr. Randy. Sake Saturdays, we'd rotate between who would bring a bottle. So the taste is very odd, especially if you've never had a sake. There are many variations or expressions of sake. There's the clear sake, which is almost like clear as water. There's some, as you just saw, with a slight yellowish tinge to it. Then there's the cloudy sake. I can't remember quite off the top of my head what it is called, but these sakes have different names. They come from different regions. They're drank at very different occasions. The Japanese, man, do they have a lot of different ways to do a lot of different things. But they are always kind and courteous, no matter the situation. Let me try this again. It's very mellow. It's almost next to nothing, but it has a sort of weird taste, almost like that weird taste when you get with a flat soda. It doesn't quite taste right, like it should taste like something else, but this is exactly what this sake is supposed to taste like. Now, this isn't like the best of the best that you can find. This is one of those sort of well-known, well-established sakes. There's a few others, which I promise you, I made these videos, and now I have to go out and run down these bottles again. Not that big of an issue because they're not that expensive. Again, notating that it is only 15%. Some of them can get a little higher. Plenty of them get a little lower. We haven't even got into the Korean stuff yet, but that's coming soon. Okay, let's finish this off. All I have to say is once you get into it, you start appreciating it. And you start, just like bourbon and just like scotch, sake has its culture. It has its grouping. It has its followers. You can see here, there are different types of sake that are drank room temperature. They're drank chilled. And some are even drank warm. You see that up there? So this one gives you information on the best ways to drink it, what food to pair it with. You can drink it warm, it's excellent. Room temperature, excellent. Chilled, good. So they don't exactly say, hey, maybe you should drink this chilled, but I say try it. On the rocks with cocktail, excellent. There you go. This was imported in through California, of course, because it's very much closer to Japan. But when it comes to sakes, you can't go wrong with this one. There are much, much better ones out there, and I will definitely be diving into those in future videos. I can't remember exactly how much this bottle cost me, but I can guarantee you this bottle's got to be close to 5-6 years old. I've had a few different bottles sitting on my shelves for quite a while. These were supposed to be backups or, you know, stash bottles, but I got into bourbon and then the whiskey, then the Irish, then the Scotch, and then, you know, these sort of things got left behind, just like the wine. But this is an acceptable sake. Tell me what you think about sake. Have you tried sake? Do you have any recommendations? Let's talk about it. Thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. Another episode off the rip. You have a good one.